Welcome back, Superman and Lois fans. The epic journey has reached its conclusion with the thrilling series finale, Season 4, Episode 10. In this video, we're diving deep into the action-packed moments, emotional farewells, and shocking twists that brought this incredible story to an end. From Clark's final showdown to the fates of our favorite characters, we'll break it all down and explore what it means for the Kent family's legacy. Let's celebrate this unforgettable finale together. Stay tuned. In an emotional farewell to its two title characters, the Superman and Lois conclusion offered a final glimpse at the venerable DC series and all of its beloved characters. Episode 9 of Superman and Lois Season 4 ended the plot at a pivotal and tense moment, with Superman engaged in a conflict with Doomsday that seemed impossible for him to win. After revealing the resolution of this conflict and Clark's fierce rivalry with Lex Luthor, Episode 10 focuses on wrapping up the last loose ends in the narrative. It has taken a long time for the live-action Superman series to reach its last episode, which airs more than 3 years after the first episode debuted in February 2021. This time has been well spent, though, as the final chapter makes significant use of nearly every story and relationship that has developed over the seasons and years. Overall, Superman and Lois Season 4 ends the series with a final, powerful, and emotional farewell to its characters and all that makes them who they are. Given that Superman and Lois Season 4 Episode 9 concludes with Clark and Doomsday rematching, and that Superman was murdered by Doomsday in their first battle at the beginning of Season 4, the show's conclusion naturally begins with a significant emphasis on the two fighters' second round. Fortunately, with some prodding from Lois, Clark learns from his past errors and allows Superman to fly him up to the sun by having Jordan and Jonathan fly Doomsday straight into Steel's hammer. However, there is another twist in space where Doomsday seems to regain some of his consciousness and memories as Bizarro. Recalling his own memories as Superman in the Bizarro world, he sacrifices himself to end things and to ostensibly save Superman, who probably would have otherwise had to give his life in order to finally stop Doomsday. It's a suitable and rather poignant farewell for the character, considering that Bizarro was both Superman's ally and antagonist in earlier sections of the plot. Following Doomsday's demise, the focus shifts more directly on Luthor, who remains committed to attempting to defeat both Clark and Lois. In order to defeat Superman, Lex dons the improved steel suit. He even employs the kryptonite screws that Milton made, which pierce Clark's skin in a horrible way. However, driven by a desire to put a stop to things once and for all, Superman uses his bare hands to smash a kryptonite screw before putting all of his might into defeating Lex. Following Lex's incarceration, Clark and Lois find out that his appeal has been rejected and he will be imprisoned at Stryker for the remainder of his life. Crucially, Lex is placed in a regular cell instead of the opulent life he had led in the prison after breaking it to suit his whim. This is because Bruno Mannheim is present and committed to making sure Luthor doesn't have a fancy prison stay. In fact, when he was last there, Mannheim mentions Lex making someone his human chair and threatening to have Luthor take his place. There are 2 time skips in the Superman and Lois finale. The first lasts for a year, while the second happens more gradually, taking place 32 years after the events of Season 4. There are many significant revelations in the first time skip alone, including the marriage of John Henry Irons and Lana Lang, Chrissy and Kyle getting ready for the birth of their second child, and Sarah telling Jordan that she believes staying overseas is the correct decision for her. When Jordan says, "I feel like I'm in the right place myself," it implies that his previous internal conflict has been at least partially resolved. With Superman, Jordan, Jonathan, Steel, and Starlight flying together as a superhero team and Clark establishing a connection with Bruno Mannheim in the hopes that the criminal can be redeemed because of his eventual help with him and Lois, a second time skip is the more somber one. In a similar vein, Clark Kent's narration also discloses that the heroes started working on a foundation in order to harness the fame and attention associated with the Superman moniker to assist others in ways other than merely defending people against natural catastrophes and superpowered enemies. Most importantly, during the parts of the concluding montage that also give us a glimpse of an older Clark and Lois, the time skip presents Jordan and Jonathan as grown-ups. The lads continue to be heroes, and each of them gets married and has kids, making their parents grandparents. This prepares the audience for the last moments, which bring Lois Lane and Clark Kent's narrative to a close. As befits the title characters, Superman and Lois' closing moments are devoted to their last days. Even while Clark's narration affirms that the two spent countless happy years together following Lex Luthor's defeat and Doomsday's sacrifice, he also notes that Lois' disease tragically returned and ultimately resulted in her death. After a few years, Clark adopts Crypto, a normal golden retriever without any special abilities to keep him company following Lois' death. But it appears that Crypto may have outlived his master because, according to Clark, he died 32 years after the major events of Superman and Lois Season 4, and shortly after Lois' human replacement heart finally failed. Fortunately, despite the sadness of Superman's death, the scene that follows gives the hero a final farewell, as he has a vision of bidding farewell to everyone who matters in his life, including Lex Luthor before meeting Lois in the afterlife, guaranteeing that the two can conclude their show together. What has made Superman and Lois successful and unique over the years is demonstrated in the show's finale. In order to show how Clark Kent's civilian life is just as significant as his heroic life, both in terms of his family and friends and how these relationships influence his bravery, the series has always made sure to concentrate on him just as much as Superman. The importance of human connection has long been at the center of the narrative, and its conclusion makes care to emphasize how important all of these ties have been. Even though it is bittersweet to watch Superman die after a long life, the conclusion seems more sweet than bitter because in spite of the odds and the numerous plots that seem to have been designed to kill him off earlier in life, he lived a long, happy life with his loved ones and doing the work that was most important to him. Because of this, the Superman and Lois conclusion ensures that the series continues to be an important part of the hero's on-screen legacy, while also bringing the show to an appropriate and emotional close. With 10 episodes, Season 4 was the shortest in Superman and Lois' 53-episode run.